Hey man, check it out, Perry Saturn, and we're going to do another Shooting with Saturn video. You know, pro wrestling is full of tough guys. In fact, I think that every wrestler ends up harder when he's done than when he started. This is a business that just makes you tough. And you know, we got the usual suspects, the killers that you never want to be on the bad side of. Haku, Barbarian, Steve Blackman, Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, Olympic gold medalist, right? But I'm going to give you 5 guys who are tough as hell too, and maybe you don't know who they are and might be surprised. Now, number 5, I don't know how many fights he would win. I know that he wouldn't back down from any. But he did the most badass thing I've ever seen in wrestling, anywhere, not just wrestling. And I'm talking about Sabu.
Sabu! Suicidal! Homicidal! Genocidal!
I watched Sabu have a barbed wire match with Terry Funk. Sabu cut his forearm to the gray meat. He needed trauma surgery. He had Fonzie run to the back, get him some white tape. He taped his arm up, finished the match. After the match, I tell him, you got to go to the hospital. And he tells me, no, he's going to super glue it closed. That's what super glue's for. And he has me hold his wound while he super glues it closed. And that is badass. I don't care who you are. Hey man, Perry Saturn here. And I want to take a minute to thank some people who've really hooked me up. Aimbridge Hospitality, Derek and Ivis, thank you guys so much, man. The room is awesome. We wouldn't have been able to shoot these videos if you wouldn't have given us a space to shoot them in. Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Okay, here's number 4 on my list. Now, this guy is so laid back. He's got that burnout attitude. I'm sure most people probably don't think he's tough. And boy, are they wrong, because he's one of the toughest guys I've been in the ring with, and that's Rob Van Dam.
Rob Van Dam!
Before pro wrestling was his job, he did street fights for money. You know, like the movie Lionheart with Van Dam, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Van Dam is Lionheart.
Rob actually did that for money. So he's been in more than his fair share of fights when most people haven't even been in one fight. Just, you don't expect Rob to be that way because he's so easygoing. I'm telling you right now, one of the toughest guys I've been in the ring with, and he'll kick your head off. Okay, my number 3 guy, a lot of guys already know he's tough. In fact, some of the bookers probably used him as a heavy at times. Thank God I got along with them because he's like indestructible. And that's Rick Steiner, Robbie Steiner.
The DFG, one of the toughest men you'll ever find.
I would just play around with him. And he would stretch me and twist me in so many different ways. And you couldn't hurt him. And anybody that you can't hurt, you got to be worried about. Okay, my number 2 guy. Now I don't know if I'm putting everybody in like order as far as toughness. I think I am. But these guys are all so tough. There's kind of one day one might be better than the other one, you know. So you keep that in mind. But number 2 is a guy that nobody thought was tough. Everybody thought he was a joke. And then next thing you know, he chokes out Goldberg twice in one, like 10-minute time period. And I'm talking about Chris Jericho.
All of them need a little Y2J, baby!
In Japan, working for War, me and John were there, and Chris Jericho had to work a tour against Katal, this big, giant kickboxing sumo guy who was going to work with Tenryu at the end of the tour. I felt he was taking liberties with Chris. And I asked Chris, I go, what the fuck, Chris? what are you doing? Why? And Chris looked at me. He goes, what do you want me to do? He goes, I just keep giving it to him. And he did every night. Like I thought Catal, like Chris was bruised up and shit, never complained, never backed down. And I'm sure Catal thought it wasn't going to be that difficult. Actually, me and John we told Chris, that we'd jump on Catal with him. We figured the three of us could whoop him. But Chris didn't need any of that bullshit. Chris stood on his own, man. Always. One time at Nitro at Club La Viva or whatever it was in Panama City for spring break, Chris worked with Scott Steiner.
I'm the man with the largest arms in the world. I'm the genetic freak, and size does matter.
Scott, very tough. Probably should have been on the list, but he's not. So, very tough. And Marcus Bagwell was goofing around, and he was saying how he was going to watch Scott eat up Chris. Without hesitation, I told Marcus, I go, I'm not saying Chris is going to whoop Scott's ass, but I'm telling you, Scott's not going to eat Chris up. There's no way Chris was going to let that happen. Chris is that tough that the toughest guys, I don't know if they whoop his ass or not, but I know they'd prefer not to have to find out, man. Chris is really just such a, he's not somebody you want to fight. Just you don't think that because he's so nice and he does the goofy characters. He'd be the first guy that I'd have in my corner if I had to get into a fight with somebody. Okay, now my last guy, on 2 different occasions, I seen him punch out 2 guys at the same time in about a second or 2. One time, a group of us rushed to what we thought would be help him because he got into the fight. Before we can get 2 feet across the bar, he had them both knocked out. I'm talking about Rick Rude.
Ravishing Rick Rude, the sexiest man alive, and you found another thing out about me, that I'm not just sexy, that I am a very, very deadly man.
The toughest guy of them Minnesota guys, and that's all them Minnesota guys say that. Rude, twice I seen him punch, incredible with his hands. He was not somebody you ever messed with. Rick Rude was one of the toughest guys, not named Haku or Barbarian or Steve Blackman. Rick Rude was one real badass. Okay, that was my list for the 5 toughest guys that I've been around in wrestling that's not Haku, Barbarian, Ming. But you know what? Wrestling, there's also women in wrestling. And I'm going to tell you who I think the toughest woman was. I don't know how many fights she would win. I don't even know if she would get into a fight because she's very ladylike. But I'm talking about Francine. In ECW, every night, John and I hit her with our finish. She would be crying because we were killing her with our finish. She never complained, and she took it every night. And where I'm from, that's tough, man. So Francine, I would say, is the toughest girl I've been around. Hey, man, check it out. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please hit like and subscribe. You'll help me out. Get it to where I can give you some more videos. I know you don't all agree with me, but I guarantee of you who disagree, none of you are willing to fight anybody on my list. So, and if you enjoyed this video, check out this playlist on screen. I bet you there's some more videos you'd like.